TNT Sports presents NASCAR. Tonight it's the Sharpie 500, live from the Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Hi everybody, Bill Weber along with Wally Dullaback and Benny Parsons. Thanks for having us in for the race. This place is a blast for race fans and for most drivers, but it's hard to describe how hard it is to be successful here. Two of the big keys, Wally: don't make any mistakes and stay away from everybody else's mistakes.
Exactly. This track for the teams and drivers reminds me of Talladega because you can get caught up in somebody else's wreck real easy. In the spring this year, we had Jeff Burton get turned. He came in, hit the inside wall, slid up the racetrack right in the front of Kurt Busch. He had no place to go. Last night in the Busch race, you're going to see a lot of this. It's so hard to pass. See Harvick trying to get underneath Biffle. You'll see a lot of guys chopping each other off. Also last night, Kasey Kahne goes to make a pass for the lead on Newman. Wasn't enough room. He was lucky, or Newman was lucky, that Kasey Kahne turned the car down. They could have taken each other out. But BP, there's a lot of mistakes you can make on the racetrack, but you got to be careful about making mistakes off the racetrack as well tonight.
That's exactly right. You know, last night in the NASCAR Busch Series race, we saw drivers eliminate their chances of winning by making mistakes simply coming down pit road. In NASCAR racing, you cannot pit until the pit road is open. Kyle Busch, the 5 car, Martin Truex Jr., the 8 car. You can see the red light is flashing. Pit road is closed, but they chose to come down pit road. Martin Truex Jr. had crossed the commitment line. That means those drivers had to go. There's the yellow commitment line. You see the red flag waving. By making the mistake, they had to start the race at the back of the field. They could never get their way all the way back to the front.
There's tremendous amounts of traffic here. There's the commitment line. Once you cross that line, you must come down pit road. If you haven't crossed it, you have to stay out on the track. What, drivers will make that mistake tonight, won't they?
They will make that mistake. And also, on the caution flag, you have to go down both pit roads. Green flag, you only go down once. We've seen Jeff Gordon make that mistake twice of going around both pit roads on a green flag stop.
And Wally, you talked about it. Patience and temper here, obviously critical keys.
Yeah, guys will be patient at the beginning of this race, but that'll go away as this race goes on. You'll see guys starting to get into each other, and that's the easy way to pass somebody is to get to their bumper and tap them, but we probably won't see that till the end of the race.
Well, there's a lot to watch for on this short track. Patience, temper, fuel mileage, tire strategy. What will play out here? The race by Mike Skinner was won here with tire strategy on Wednesday night. Last night, Ryan Newman used fuel and a lot of patience and a little bit of rain to stay out on the track. That got him to victory lane. His 3rd straight win in the Busch Series, trying to convert that into a Nextel Cup win tonight. The drivers are in their cars. The fans are in their seats. The only seat left for this race is the one you have at home. 500 laps on the world's fastest half mile, the Bristol Motor Speedway. Now, let's take you trackside and get the words you've been waiting to hear tonight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the words we've all been waiting for, Sharpie 500 Grand Marshal, Deanna Carlson.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
The drivers now with the cars fired. The front row of Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon. 500 fast and sometimes frightening laps just ahead here at Bristol. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Matt Kenseth, his 2nd career pole, and the latest driver eligible for the Budweiser Shootout next February at Daytona. And here's the starting grid for tonight's Sharpie 500. Matt Kenseth on the pole and Jeff Gordon desperate to make the chase for the Nextel Cup outside of row 1.
Dave Blaney, 2nd in the spring, 3rd this time, alongside Greg Biffle.
Good run for Ricky Rudd. Ryan Newman, the winner from the Busch race last night, well, the last 3 Busch races.
That's right. Back in row 4, Kenny Schrader, outstanding qualifying run, and the same for Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Inside of row 5, Elliott Sadler, who, folks, desperately needs a good run to try to get back in this chase for the Nextel Cup, and Kasey Kahne on the outside.
Row 6, Kyle Busch has got a very good car here tonight, and Scott Riggs, great run last week.
And a new contract to drive for Ray Evernham next year. Kurt Busch, defending series champion, was with us in the booth last night, and Casey Mears share row 7.
Inside of row 8 is Mike Wallace alongside last week's winner in Michigan, Jeremy Mayfield.
Big win for Mayfield.
And we've got Tony Stewart in a backup car, but he's pretty happy with this race car right now, and Jamie McMurray.
And McMurray will have to go to the back.
Kevin Harvick, Rusty Wallace back in row 10. Rusty's final ride at Bristol.
Johnny Benson makes the race, and he's right next to Michael Waltrip. That's driver and owner in the same row.
Brian Vickers, the inside for Hendrick and Jeff Burton.
See Mark Martin, also his final race here. Well, if he runs the 6 car next year, it won't be, but scheduled to be his final start alongside Kyle Petty.
Mike Bliss is in row 14, along with Jeff Green in the famous 43 from Petty Enterprises.
Two pretty strong race cars in this row, Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jarrett.
And 2 guys back in row 16 that could have a good finish tonight, Travis Kvapil and Scott Wimmer.
Take you back to row 17. You find Robbie Gordon and Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, who has had some exciting runs here at Bristol.
And front row Joe Nemechek missed it a little bit this week. He's inside row 18 alongside Stanton Barrett.
Carl Edwards and Hermie Sadler in row 19.
Back in row 20, two-time series champion Terry Labonte and Sterling Marlin from the state of Tennessee, where we are tonight.
And there he is, folks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. inside of row 21 alongside Bobby Labonte.
I was beginning to think we left Junior out. And Carl Long starts 43rd tonight here at Bristol. Johnny Sauter, P.J. Jones, Tony Raines, Mike Garvey, Wayne Anderson, Morgan Shepherd failed to qualify. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jamie McMurray will have to drop to the back of the field. This was an impound race for unapproved work on the car. McMurray was a transmission change. Cars have rolled out onto this half mile. Final stories from pit road, beginning with Dave.
And Bill, Bristol may cause tempers to flare and title hopes to be shattered, but for Jimmy Johnson, he's feeling no pressure tonight. He only has to finish 27th or better to clinch his spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup tonight. And his average finish here at Bristol, 11.3. He does have some work to do. He starts 29th. Marty.
Dave, Kurt Busch is a 4-time Bristol winner, all with the same race car, but for the first time in 5 years, he doesn't have that same race car here at Bristol. This is a brand new car they brought this weekend. Jimmy Finning told me moments ago they've been working out new car bugs all weekend. The car not nearly where they want it, but Finning told me I have Kurt Busch and I have 500 laps tonight to get the car right. Matt?
Mark Martin has 2 Bristol wins, both coming in the night race. Now he's 25th in the lineup. He's 5th in the championship standings with a big cushion over Dale Jarrett back in 11th. Now he told me moments before he climbed his car, he has a very good car. Had a great race car here in the spring, but he crashed out while running 9th. He says the car tonight, it doesn't have to win the race. It just has to not be involved in a wreck. Alan?
On Bristol's pit road, the cars and the crews are packed in very close together, but therein lies one of the keys to tonight's race. You heard Benny talk about how tough it is to pass here. If a pit crew can gain a driver a couple of spots tonight, it might win him the race. Also, remember lap 350. That's when a crew chief's going to have to make a key strategy call that will determine whether he finishes up front or goes away from here kind of mad. Bill?
Thanks, guys. Have a great night down there.
You know, to watch these guys warm up, BP, we see this here at Bristol all the time. These guys on the outside are not very happy. No. Because when this race starts, those guys on the outside have to get to the bottom as quick as possible. We'll see that all night, especially on restarts.
Here's a camera on the front bumper of Bobby Labonte's car. How many laps do you give it?
You know what?
Over under.
Since it's on Bobby Labonte's car and he takes care of his equipment, I think it'll be there all night.
You think so?
Yep.
We had 2 last night. Neither one of them saw the checkered flag.
Nah, this thing will never last. It'll never last.
Just a lap and a half to go. 160,000 fans packed into this place. And the flash bulbs are popping. The sun behind the clouds tonight. A rainy morning here in Bristol. Then it rained about 2 o'clock this afternoon. But hopefully the rain will stay away and we can go 500 laps here on this half-mile track at Bristol.
You can see what Wally was talking about, that black area on the bottom of the racetrack. That's the groove that all the cars run. You get outside that and you lose speed where those cars on the outside are now.
The field gets the 1 to go signal. This race is critical for the drivers that hope to make the chase for the Nextel Cup. As Wally talked about, sometimes you can have the best car and the best night, but if you have the worst luck, Your night will end early, you won't get the points, and you will not make the chase. Guys like Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Dale Jarrett, Matt Kenseth, hoping this can be a point production night instead of a point reduction night. 43 cars on a high banked half mile. It's a tightrope of tension. Here, the margin between Fame and Blaine is race ticket thin.
That's good, Weber. You stay up all night thinking about it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same
We were
thing.
up all night here.